Alright, I'm gonna say it straight up. The Expanse Osiris Reborn looks absolutely insane. This isn't just, hey, cool, another licensed game. This looks like the Mass Effect sequel we've been begging for, but filtered through the Expanse's brutal, grounded sci-fi universe. Today I'm breaking down the newest Life in Space dev diary, the early announcement and gameplay trailers, and all the fresh info that just dropped. From the story setup to the ship and crew, to the ridiculous attention to realism like how guns actually sound in a vacuum and why your crew is obsessed with spices. So if you're a fan of The Expanse, you miss old school BioWare, or you just want a massive single player sci-fi RPG to sink into, stick around, because Osiris Reborn might be the next big one. Drop a like if you want more coverage on upcoming story-driven games, and let me know in the comments, what's the one thing you want Osiris Reborn to nail? Story, combat, or crew dynamics? Alright, let's talk about why Osiris Reborn looks so cracked right now. So first, quick context. The Expanse Osiris Reborn is a third-person story-driven action RPG set in the Expanse universe, same world as the books and TV show. It's being made by Owlcat Games, the team behind Pathfinder and Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader. So these devs already live and breathe deep, choice-driven RPGs. You're not playing as a TV show protagonist, you're your own character, a Pinkwater security mercenary just trying to enjoy shore leave on the asteroid Eros, when everything goes horribly wrong. There's a lockdown, a conspiracy spiraling across the entire solar system, and you end up in command of one of the most advanced ships in known space. It's single player, it's narrative heavy, and it's coming to PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X and S, with the classic coming soon release date. So no hard launch date yet. In other words, this isn't a live service thing. This isn't a co-op extraction shooter. This is squad, story, ship, and choices, in a grounded sci-fi universe where physics and politics actually matter. Let's talk trailer. The announcement trailer and follow-up gameplay showcases basically scream, what if Mass Effect, but with Expanse physics and politics? We see a gunship flipping and burning hard to attack an asteroid base. Classic Expanse maneuvering, not arcade spaceflight. Low-gravity assaults, where the squad lands and you've got mag-locked boots, keeping you grounded while debris and enemies float around you. Cover-based third-person shooting with grenades strafing from behind cover, and those cinematic run-between flying wreckage moments. Then the newer Life in Space dev diary shifts gears. Instead of just pew-pew cool trailers, it zooms in on how life actually works in space, how people move, breathe, eat, and fight in zero-G. We see exterior ship traversal, where your character is walking along the hull in mag boots, shots of them clipping to surfaces, turning around and still feeling physically grounded even when down is completely relative. Interior shots of the ship that feel more like a real working environment than a glossy sci-fi hotel. It's a smart combo. Trailer 1 says, we've got the spectacle. The latest dev diary says, yeah, and we actually thought about how this all works. So what are you actually doing in this universe? According to the official description and dev breakdowns, you're a Pinkwater security merc on Eros just trying to enjoy a short break when the station goes into lockdown, suddenly trapped in the middle of a crisis that spirals into a solar system-wide conspiracy, forced to take command of an advanced frigate and a crew of specialists just to stay alive. Before all that, you create and customize your own captain, and this part is huge. You can choose to be Earther, Martian, or a Belter, and it's not just cosmetic. Devs have literally said that your origin changes how people treat you and what content you see. For example, showing up as a Martian or Earther on Osiris, sorry if I butchered that, makes things complicated. But if you're a Belter, suddenly doors open. More places you can go, extra side quests, different opportunities. So the fantasy isn't just space soldier saves the world. It's, you're probably in a powder keg solar system, and who you are, where you're from, actually matters. That's exactly the kind of choice matter RPG design people keep saying they want back. The heart of this game looks like it's not just the ship, it's the people on it. From the Steam page and recent previews, your companions aren't just walking buff stacks. They're people with their own scars and loyalties, some chasing redemption, others hiding secrets. And your leadership style, the choices you make on and off missions, can strengthen or break those relationships. Owlcat's devs have already said they're leaning into more choices and consequences than your typical action RPG, and they specifically mentioned being humbled by all the Mass Effect comparison while insisting Osiris isn't just a one-for-one clone. Their focus is heavier on branching outcomes and how your origin and decisions ripple through the story. Gameplay-wise, you fight in third-person cover-focused gunplay. You bring two companions into the field with you, other support from afar, disabling systems or drawing fire. You issue real-time commands to your squad and adapt on the fly as things go sideways. So yeah, if you're watching the trailer thinking, this looks like The Expanse meets Mass Effect 2, you're not imagining it. And honestly, I'm fine with that. By the way, if you're still watching at this point, clearly you care about single-player sci-fi games way too much. Honestly, same. So if you want deep dives like this on other upcoming RPGs, hit subscribe so you don't miss the next breakdown. And tell me which crew member archetype you always pick. Sniper, hacker, or chaos gremlin. Now let's get into the brand new stuff. From the latest dev diary, because this is where Osiris Reborn really separates itself from generic space shooters. Outcat didn't just slap 0G on the box and call it a day. They actually brought in former NASA astronaut and ISS commander Leroy Shao to help them get the feel of space right. How you move, how you breathe, and even how you eat. A few highlights. First, mag boots and external ship traversal. One of the big fears in real spacewalks is just floating off into the void forever. In reality, astronauts use tethers, but that doesn't make for very reactive gameplay. So the devs landed on mag boots as a middle ground. Still rooted in the Expanse universe, still grounded in reality, but responsive enough to feel good under a controller. You see your character clinging to the hull, pivoting around, dodging debris, firing in low G. It genuinely looks like someone asked, what if we turned those Expanse spacewalk sequence into actual levels? Next, gunfights in a vacuum. Sound design that actually respects space. Here's where it gets nerdy in the best way. Realistically, space is silent, but silent gunfights would be kind of boring to play. So the audio director explains that in Osiris Reborn's vacuum, you hear more than real astronauts would, but way less than standard games. Instead of Hollywood gunfire echoing everywhere, the focus is on your breathing, radio comms, vibrations through the suit and ship. It gives combat this tense, claustrophobic vibe where every sound feels like it's happening inside your helmet instead of all around you. And lastly, food, taste buds, and life on the ship. This is the part that surprised me the most. The dev diary and press breakdowns talk about how life in space literally changes how things taste. Astronauts often crave spices just to feel strong sensations again. The team ran with that. Pinkwater's meals are made from ingredients grown in orbit. Your companions talk about food, complain about it, reminisce about things they can't have anymore. There's even mention of contraband spices being a thing, because of course someone's smuggling flavor into space. It sounds tiny, but that's the stuff that makes a ship feel like a home instead of just a lobby. Combine that with the story focus on earned trust, where the ship becomes a place where relationships slowly build or fall apart based on your choices, and suddenly it's not just your Normandy clone, it's a believable working environment with people who actually live there. We're not just stuck on the station either. Osiris Reborn sends you across iconic locations in the Expanse universe. Sorry if I butcher any of these, I've actually not watched the show before. So first, Ganymede, Ceres, Mars, and Luna. You'll walk through ruined habitats, political strongholds, and uneasy neutral zones where everyone's one bad day away from riding. The devs describe it as a system where some places are falling apart, others just hide it better. On top of that, they've teased familiar faces and voices from the show, not as the main focus, but as reminders that your story is happening parallel to the bigger events fans already know. So if you're an Expanse fan, there's that extra layer of, wait, I know that organization. I know what they're really doing with that tech, while your character's just trying to not die in the middle of it. So to wrap this up, why does Osiris Reborn look so insane right now? It's a single player, story-driven, and unapologetically built around choices and consequences, in a time where a lot of sci-fi games lean live service or co-op. It taps into that Mass Effect-style squad RPG fantasy, but blends it with the Expanse hard sci-fi rules around gravity, politics, and technology. The new Life in Space dev diary shows the team sweating the tiny details, from how your boots stick to the hull, to how quiet combat is in a vacuum, all the way down to your crew discussing space food and contraband spices. And it's developed by a studio that already proved they can handle deep RPG systems with games like Pathfinder and Rogue Trader. There's still no release date, which is both a curse and a blessing. A curse because we want it now. Blessing because I would rather this thing cook properly than ship half-baked. So yeah, Osiris Reborn looks insane. And honestly, if BioWare doesn't get its act together, this might quietly slide in and become the new gold standard for sci-fi RPGs. Let me know down below, are you more hyped for this as an Expanse fan or as a Mass Effect refugee? And what origins are you rolling first? Earther, Martian, or Belter? If you enjoyed this breakdown and you want more deep dives into upcoming games, not just the trailers, but the systems, the dev diaries, the weird little details, hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell. I'll be covering Osiris Reborn all the way to launch, story theories, build ideas, and hopefully a full review when it finally drops. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.